start at the beginning from basics, going through some of the more complicated installation procedures. Most people nowadays have at least started with the water for gas, hydrogen generator, mason jar, basic series. Really durable. You can build them with the metal caps on them or with the plastic caps that they suggest. I couldn't get my hands on a plastic cap, so I used metal cap. Just a little suggestion: when you do that, you need to insulate your positive side because you don't want it to ground to the cap. My brother and I did this in his garage, and after several tries, we've got this thing to where it produces. You'll know right away. It'll blow out fuses and short your system out if you don't generate. This unit here produces the advantages to using a water for gas glass system the way is that it doesn't pull many amps. It doesn't use a lot of power to generate hydrogen, and it generates hydrogen. The disadvantage is that you're not going to get any real fuel savings off of using just one unit. You need to hook several of these up in series to produce the volume of hydrogen that you'll need to notice any kind of substantial gas savings. Some of these larger units that you've seen on the market use more stainless steel surface area, and that's basically the thinner wire that you use inside these glass have less surface area. Sometimes you see people with big plates in there, they have more surface area, and that's what's going to produce your hydrogen. Now, some of the problems with using too much surface area is that it draws too many amps. And when you draw too much amps and you create too much heat, you initially are producing hydrogen, but eventually you get the water way too hot, and you mix steam in that process, and basically what you're producing is steam. Instead of using a system that you have to regulate the amount of electric, we're going to start with just using systems that pull the amount. Now, we suggest you use 3 of these in a larger vehicle. One unit like this will produce enough to see some kind of a increase in fuel mileage on a 4-cylinder car. 2 is better. On the water for gas, numbers are based on using 6 on a 4-cylinder car. Just for your information, is not enough to make any kind of substantial savings in fuel. Considering we're just using water and baking soda is what we're going to be using in this video. We're just cracking water, cracking the water molecule. There's no reason why we wouldn't want to use more water, more units to crack more water. We're not to save gas. Some of the other things that you're going to need to really realize any fuel savings in any newer cars, 1997 and newer, is a MAP or MAP sensor enhancer. Without that, you may realize some savings in the beginning, but your computer will quickly adjust itself and be just dispersing the same amount of gas as it did before you use your hydrogen generator system. So please keep all that stuff in mind. It's also very important that if you're going to be experimenting with the hydrogen, please take a small area in a ventilated room that you have, either inside or outside. Get a battery charger, something with an amp meter on it. Get your distilled water and some baking soda and experiment with it. See how these units work before you just install it in the car. I suggest that everyone does, because you're going to need to service this unit. You're going to need to put it in and fill it up, and you're going to want to be familiar with how it works in case you have a malfunction, or in placement, where you decide to place your unit is very important. So I suggest that you just take a few minutes. It's fun. The hydrogen is very flammable, so please don't play with the hydrogen like I do sometimes. It's not a good idea. Okay, it's not a good idea. I'm going to slow down and say it very slowly. It is not good to play with the hydrogen. It's very flammable. Okay, so having all that said, you can see right here, I have this hooked up because I only have a short amount of time of video on this first one. I have this hooked up to power. The second unit I have here is another unit here. We'll get into the core design in a later video, but it's just to show you the difference in production, how these units don't always produce the same. I have another unit. I have the exact same solution that I poured in both units, and I have this because it will draw a little more than 6 amps. I want to show you on this gauge, it'll draw about 7 amps, 7 to 8 amps. Just, whenever you install a unit in a car, okay, it's very important that you keep safety in mind. You always run your supply lines into a bubbler. This is a simulation of a bubbler right here. And then have some kind of flashback arrestor. Have some kind of flashback prevention. You can go and buy them. It's very important. I cannot stress enough how important safety is when you install these in your car. Okay. The science behind a bubbler is that you're going to have your supply line from your generator feed into a container of water, and then you have your line that goes to your car out of that water. If there's ever a spark and gets through your spark arrestor or anything, it'll spark and it'll stop at the water and will not get to your unit. These units are safe in comparison to a fuel tank or compressed hydrogen tank, but they are producing a flammable hydrogen we want. They will explode. Okay, they will explode if you do not use the right safety precautions. So, I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm just trying to emphasize that safety is very important. Also, when you're doing bench testing, these water containers they're essential to see what your production actually is. I'm going to turn this small unit on, and I'm going to show you how it produces. And you can visually see the amount of hydrogen that this is producing. Okay? Now, a good way to test your unit, make sure, is push that unit down in the water a little bit. And if the bubbles stop coming out, you have a leak somewhere in your unit. Okay? Now, with a unit that takes an extra amp or two but has more surface area to it, you'll see right now when I apply electric, 1 amp more power, because this one will be gauged. This one has a maximum of 6 amps. This one will be gauged. When I apply 1 more amp of power, but I have more surface area, I have the different configurations. If you can see now, this is out of this hydrogen unit, different configurations. And if you look down, can you see the amp meter? It doesn't really, it should only be about 7 amps. Maybe 8 amps. It's not a lot of amperage running out of this unit. Yet but at 6 to 8 amps, you're not really worried about overheating and steaming out your unit. Okay, it's very important that we don't replace steam with hydrogen. So this was just your simple basic unit. See, this is an excellent starter unit. This is an excellent starter unit for someone that wants a little bit more production. Both units are producing right now. It's hydrogen. Okay, both units are producing hydrogen. There's ways to tell. Now my camera person here does not like when I do this, so I'm not gonna. Yeah. You see, that's hydrogen out of both sides. If that was just steam that it was producing, those would not ignite. Okay, those would just be bubbles from heat, and it would just be air. That's actually hydrogen we're producing. I want to thank you guys for watching. This is the first in a very long series of hydrogen production units. This is HydroVin signing off.